Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. We're live on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. You can subscribe and you can also hit the bell and you'll get the notifications of when we're live Monday to Friday, 4 o'clock. And if you miss the live show, don't forget, you can watch it at your leisure on our YouTube channel, and there's lots of unique content and lots of great features coming up over the forthcoming months. Simple as that. I'm Peter Martin. Ruffy's with me as ever, Charlie Adam and Tam McManus, and you'll be able to, as you look back on these programmes over the years, tell when it's summer and when it eventually kicks into winter and we're all wearing parkers and trousers as well. But it's certainly a weekend where we're hoping things are going to hot up on the park. We'll look at that Rangers-Celtic match on the Sunday and the other crucial matches on Saturday and Sunday in the Scottish Premiership. We'll look down south. You can give us your view on the big games, what you think about your favourite team. And let's not forget about last night's European action. Some of us were confident, some of us thought 4 teams going through, others maybe slightly optimistic with 3, and then some realists in our camp thinking only 2 Scottish teams would make it into the European draw this morning. So that to talk about. If I can just mention at this point, which I'm sure is something that's close to Ruffy and myself, we'll dedicate this programme to a Partick Thistle fan, Bobby Harvey, who passed away earlier this week. Bobby was an absolute gem of a guy, and alongside his daughter Katrina, who worked with me at Scottish Television on Scott Sport, Bobby actually played at my wedding as well. One of the fantastically talented fiddlers, and his band played at the wedding. A big Jags fan, and he loved you, Ruffy, and memories of that 1971 team. So sadly, he'll be missed by many people.
Yeah, I'm sure Kat will miss him more than anybody, as we know. You know, they were joined at the hip, the two of them. They went everywhere together. You know, as you say, he always took his instruments with him, and he was a joy to be in his company, you know, or somebody like that who can entertain people. But as you say, Partick Thistle was his love. You saw him standing there with the tile with his name on it and Kat's name on it. So he'll be sadly missed, and I'm sure Partick Thistle will do something for him. That's how much they thought of him, you know, absolutely, as a supporter.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because they did put a lovely tribute up on social media for Bobby, who sadly passed away this week. Born in 1935 to 2021, and he filled that life full of great fun. Loved his football. That's what it's all about on this programme, and we might as well look first of all at the draw which has taken place. Rangers first of all in the Europa League. Here's exactly how they fared along with Celtic. It's Lyon, Rangers, Sparta Prague and Brøndby. And as you can see there with Celtic, it's Bayer Leverkusen, Real Betis and Ferencváros. So, Charlie, what do you make of Rangers and their draw?
Tough. I have some good memories of playing away in Lyon in the Champions League many moons ago, and a certain Karim Benzema come to Ibrox and scored a hat-trick to put us out. But it's a tough tie. You know, Sparta Prague as well be a good side, and Brøndby. So no, listen, they're in the draw. They were in the draw, and that was the most important thing. Tough ties, but that's part of parcel of playing in Europe.
Am I right in thinking? I mean, I was at both those games at Ibrox. Did Rangers not win 3-0 away from home?
Yeah, we won 3-0 away. Yeah.
Was Jean-Claude Darcheville in the team then? And Daniel Kuzan,
DeMarcus Beasley, and I think Lee McCulloch scored 3-0. We beat them over there, and we needed, I think, a point at Ibrox, and Benzema scored a hat trick, and his career just went
downhill from there, didn't it? Really,
struggling.
he looked as if he'd a poor touch, and he did that stupid thing, Ruffy. Every time he got in the box, he scored.
The boy Juninho used to play for midfielder. Remember, scored the free kicks.
The number 8.
He was the best free kick taker I've ever seen.
Unbelievable, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, the dip he can get in the ball.
It's unbelievable.
Right?
Oh, he scored. He was a fantastic player.
Better than Zico?
I don't know. I was well.
That's Russell. That's Ruffy. What was it like?
Ronaldo for me.
What, the
Juninho?
Portuguese?
Free kicks. Yeah, Ronaldo we'll be talking about later on. His free kicks are just incredible.
Yeah.
But how many?
The movement he gets.
But how many does he hit that goes in like that? You know,
I thought you were going to say Rivellino as well. He could hit a free kick. They used to bend as well.
I thought Ronaldo's, some of his free kicks.
Ronaldo?
The up-to-date ones, you know, the way the swerve he would put on it, and the movement it would take on it.
Zico swerve it as well? Or?
No, he just curled it.
He just curled it into the postage stamp, you know.
Cardboard cut it and
Well,
goal.
to be fair, the great thing about Zico was goalkeepers were always able to watch the ball going in as well. Yeah. You know, they just used to think, no point going for that, but that's a great goal, Zico.
Could you get a 40?
Absolutely, Ruffy.
Just going back to the group, I think it's a wonderful group. I think the European games, and if you look at Rangers from a selfish point of view, but there's not much travelling. You know, like you say, they could have had worse ties to travel away and longer journeys. So I think they'd be delighted with that.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, I think, looking back to last night as well, guys, Ruffy, if Morelos has his shooting boots on, that's easy street for Rangers last night, albeit Alishkert got a man sent off. But Morelos had 3 gilt-edged opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, Rangers were never under pressure at all, you know, but you could see his body language when he missed a couple. He looked as if he, don't mean chucked it, but it looked as if it was affecting him more than anything else. But apart from that, you know, I think you just want to see the game out and get out of there and get into the group stages. And for me, I never thought Rangers at any stage of the game were under any pressure. I think if they had scored, Rangers would have upped it and probably went up. If they needed to get the goal, they got it.
Yeah, well, and as far as Alishkert were concerned, Tam, I thought they were poor. Eh?
I have no idea how they're even in that tournament. They are the worst team I think I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
They never had a shot on target. Over 2 legs and they had 1 corner.
I think
3 hours.
I think they had one
They
straight
didn't.
at McCrory.
McCrory did a good
one.
save, quite a good save
Right.
on his body.
straight
So
in.
1.
Yeah. Okay, 1. But they were poor,
They
weren't
were poor.
And then the other one, it
Rangers
just went
cruised
by
that.
the post, just hit the post. So that was 2.
That's not a target.
One on the other bar.
I'm saying it like, so if you look at if you get an opportunity like a tie like that over 2 legs to get into the Europa League after getting knocked out of the Champions,
Just
you're
job
delighted
done.
with that.
Oh,
aren't you?
absolutely.
You look at, I mean, you go another part of Celtic, Alkmaar, who caused them a lot of problems.
Yeah, I thought they
It
were-
could have been more difficult, you know. And
Well, to be fair, let's be honest about it, Charlie. Celtic caused themselves a lot of problems. I mean, for God's sake, I don't know how Joe Hart thought, I'm going to wait for that ball to get to me.
I know, but what's the centre back then?
Well, the centre back's made a back end of it, but
He's just
nowadays
got to
the
I'm
modern
gonna go-
goalkeeper is a sweeper keeper, Charlie.
Yeah, but
He's just got to put his foot through that.
No, he's got to get out and clear
Get
it.
out,
first.
just clear it out the park.
To give him
What's he waiting on?
the benefit of the doubt, it was neither in or out. It was one of the ones that was half a yard for being in, and he's obviously misjudged it. You know, and then
No,
it's
no,
too
Do you
late.
think he was waiting the ball to get in the box?
Aye, I think he
Ruffy.
was waiting and coming in.
Ruffy, the first misjudgment is the guy clearly, if you're a goalkeeper and you're looking, you realise that ball's coming over your centre half is going to clear it, but there's the potential. Now, this is what Neuer does to, you know, week in, week out. He makes a back end of it. So Joe Hart's first thought should have been, because he's obviously looked and scanned everything, danger. He's made a back end of it, run out and clear it. Run out, not wait.
if you look at Joe Hart as a goalkeeper, he's not one that would be in that position. He's never a goalie that's off his line so much or that far out. So he's probably in a position where he thinks that centre back's got to deal with it for me. Deal with it and get rid of it. That's the problem. I don't think it's the goalies.
I think it's both of them.
Nah, the
I think both of them
centre
have
back. Deal with the situation. Stop it at source, and you don't lose the goal.
I disagree with you, Charlie.
Yeah.
I think the goalie's that.
I think he's just got to come out and smash it up the park and then go, hey, get your finger out.
Yeah, I
You
agree.
know,
with
the
you, Tom.
safety first. You can't in a big
Aye,
game like
safety
that.
first.
Too
Tell
slow.
Welsh to head the ball.
I know,
Absolutely
but
agree with
defenders
you.
make
but
that.
He's too slow. He's not even. He hasn't even reacted to think. I'm going to have to even if he runs 2 yards, he still beats the guy to the tackle, doesn't he?
I read his coat with a concrete zone last night.
Yeah.
What was he doing?
Yeah.
David Marshall had been in front of Welsh.
He would have been actually, for Schick to score. Anyway, apart from anything else, that was the first thing. But blunder of all blunders, Tam. I mean, Starfelt is now making Shane Duffy look like Franz Beckenbauer.
Bring back Big Shane. Honestly, all's forgiven. No, it's a dreadful error. He's just got to clear his lines. To be fair to the boy, and you've got to give him credit, that was a bad mistake. Second half, I thought he was pretty good. He was solid. Celtic were under a lot of pressure, under the cosh second half, and I thought they stuck together and they seen it out. But things like that, when you sign a guy for £4 million, £4.5 million international player, he's got to be better than that. And I think he's made a number of errors. He's made a bad start to his Celtic career. I'm not saying he can't go and improve and be a good Celtic player, but the jury's out, I think, with a lot of Celtic fans at the minute.
Absolutely, I agree with you. The one thing that Ange Postecoglou looked on with great positivity is, of course, big European nights at Celtic Park.
Exciting. You know, I guess that's the reward for for last night, and I guess over the two legs against a very good team, RZ. That we could look forward to the draw today, and looking at the calibre of teams we're going to be up against, super excited. I know we're going to have some fantastic nights, particularly here at Celtic Park. So looking forward to it.
I think he deserves credit, Ruffy, because Ange Postecoglou came in. There was the cloud of, looking and saying, well, everybody's thinking he's second choice. He's had to quickly get players in and try and get the players who are still there into the mindset of the way he wants the team to play. And I think he's managed to do that. My fear for him is quite simply, from this day, beyond the Old Firm game, that window, he needs defenders in. He might need another 2 strikers in, depending on who goes out the door. But he certainly needs that 2 to 3 players. He's got Liam Scales, who's come in a 4-year deal from Shamrock Rovers. He's 23, but is he going to automatically go into that back line? I think they need somebody with real experience.
No, I have to be honest, I thought he got away with one last night. Very, very fortunate, that they got through that tie, and that might have put a wee bit of pressure on him, because you're right, he's not got his the 11 that he wants. There's players, the Japanese boys playing up front. He's never, I don't know about you, I don't think he's a target man. It's not his game, so he's trying the good thing, he's trying things, he's trying things that, if you get away with it, it's okay. I mean, unfortunately, young boy Montgomery had to come on. It's not, for me, it's not a settled 11, and I think he's still tinkering with it. And as you said, he needs 2 or 3 players in to make it more solid, because they're exciting to watch and everything. But you can't keep getting into games and losing goals like that. You're just going to start losing games.
Yeah.
If you lose goals like that.
Well, listen, there was one howler that I thought they should have scored as well, which would have taken it into extra time, possibly penalties. But they got there. What about the draw? What do you make of the teams that Celtic have in that draw?
Difficult. I think it's difficult. I think Rangers is tough, but I think Celtic's is tougher. I think that Bayer Leverkusen and Real Betis are 2 very, very good sides. Even Ferencvaros, I think, will be decent. So to see Celtic getting through the tie, getting through the group, no, I don't see them getting through. But I think for the supporters, having 60,000 back in at Celtic Park, going away to Betis, going away to Leverkusen, great occasions for the supporters to go and travel, go and see them, big games. And at a packed Parkhead, Celtic are capable of beating anybody, I think. So, but I just think over these 2 teams, Betis and Leverkusen, for me, are just a wee bit too much quality.
Well, do you know what I love about this show today, Charlie? It's one of those days where we all agree to disagree. I'm going to be quite bold in this. There's a little caveat to cover me here, Tam.
Signings?
Yes. if he gets the signings that he's telling them he wants, if he gets the defenders in, now he's got obviously cover for Ralston, who's playing out of his skin at the moment. Taylor looks as if he's got a bad shoulder injury, so he needs a left back. He definitely needs a centre half, and I think he needs a striker, whether the other guys go or not. If he gets those players in, Charlie, I think there's a real chance of them getting out of that group, because I personally, and I've watched them regularly now since he's taken over, I think they play a good high press, high tempo football. I like what they're doing.
I think both teams will get through. I think Rangers have got Rangers are a proper Europa League team now. They've got the experiences, they understand what to do, especially away from home. They can go and nick points away from home. So I think that both of them will get through. But like you say, in the next couple of days are big for Celtic and Rangers, losing players, but also if they can bring ones in. Listen, we all keep saying what Celtic need, but it's up to the manager and whoever's in charge to try and get them over the line. And if they do that, then they'll definitely be competitive in that group.
Yeah, and do you think Lee Griffiths going to Dundee will scupper the Nisbet deal that Celtic are going to get over the line?
Well, it's just when I come in here when I come in here today, I didn't know nothing about it, and obviously you told me about it. So yeah, I don't know where it's come from, but listen.
The manager and him are good pals, aren't they?
Yeah, they're good pals. Listen, we all know the quality that Griff's got. And listen, if he did come to us, he'll improve. I'll hopefully try and get him a few goals with assists and that. Yeah. But listen, if he becomes available and the club want to do it, then for me it would be a no-brainer.
Well, I have to tell you, Charlie, if he moves to Dundee and you got 20-25 games out of him, you would be thinking Dundee would be thinking top 6 side here. You'd be going for it, because it's the difference between the non-goal scorers.
Scoring goal is the difference between being bottom 6 or top 6.
Yeah,
that's what we are. If we get the goal scorers, Cummins has done brilliant for us. But if you can get somebody in like that quality that can get you that little bit to get into the top six. I don't think there's much in the league apart from, you know, Rangers and Celtic. We've seen us against Hibs at the weekend. Can you do it on a consistent basis? We'll wait and see. You know, tough game away at Motherwell tomorrow, but if you can get players like that in your football club, then it'll definitely give you a better chance of getting into the top six.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, if we've talked about the high of Rangers and Celtic making it into the draw, misery, Ruffy. I mean, the two of them. I mean, first of all, Aberdeen, I'm going to cut them some slack because Tam was mentioning something here, and I'll give them a little bit of leeway. They've spent Carabag have got a huge budget where they can spend it on quality, but at home, 3-1. Aberdeen.
Yeah, I think there's been a hype with Aberdeen at the start, and maybe quite rightly so. A new manager, a few signings, and that.
Are we guilty of it, Ruffy?
They haven't done anything for me. You know, the results I've had, the Livingston result, you know, okay, they drew with Hearts, and I don't think they've set the head on fire in any of the games. You know, we were talking about Scott Brown going there. He would bring the best out in Ferguson. Obviously, McCrory's dropped back a bit, but haven't seen it. You know, haven't seen an improvement. I've not seen, you know, what we were all talking about at the beginning of the season. This is when the season they're going to be magnificent, they're going to be this. And not done it for me yet.
I agree with you, Ruffy. 8th straight season Aberdeen knocked out before they can even get to the group stage. It's just not good enough.
It's a blow. It is a blow because they probably expect to try and get into the group stages, and obviously they've not. But listen, this Carabag side, team are a good side, and Stevens obviously said last night that, you know, it could have been more, the quality that they've got. If they had a decent pitch in the first leg, you know, they could have got a bit of a doing as well. So, not reset themselves, refocused. They look like they're bringing in a couple of decent players in the next couple of days. Longstaff, Declan Bates, you know, David Bates is it? Mm-hmm. You know, Watkins as well. So, Dave McCormack did say he was going to spend a bit of money, and he's done that. So, listen, now is when Aberdeen will get judged in the Premier League.
Yeah, he's turning into Ruffy. If it basically half sounds like one of their names, he just fires it out there, doesn't he?
Declan Bates.
David, John, Peter, whatever Bates.
David Bates will be happy, won't he? Declan Bates.
Norman's boy.
Yeah, exactly. But on Charlie's,
He looked good. He looked good at Rangers. And everybody was surprised when he left. Obviously, the negotiations went, and then he got pinched by them.
Yeah, well, listen, they've actually been quick off the mark here.
Yeah.
Sometimes I always think it's a wee bit cynical. You go, right, we've been knocked out of Europe, let's quickly flood the back pages with Matty Longstaff from Newcastle on loan, Bates, Marley Watkins, suddenly 3 players there to supplement. In fact, I think all of them are straight starters.
Aye, I was just thinking about it today. I think that all of the guys will get into the team at Aberdeen.
Yeah.
I don't think they've come in as squad fillers. You know, I think that Bates will come in at the back beside Gallagher.
Spine the team.
I think Watkins will come in. I don't think G. Emmanuel Thomas has been particularly impressive up there, so I think he'll come in for him, and then Longstaff will come into the middle part, I think, beside Ferguson.
Where they put McCrory? Does that now allow?
McCrory's been playing centre back.
Does that now allow him to bring McCrory back into midfield? Because that's where he's got the energy.
Yeah, I mean, McCrory could play anywhere, right back, centre back.
You've got Hedges as well.
He's injured at the minute.
Yeah, but I like Hedges. Hedges is a starter for me. If they want to play attacking football, he's a creative player. He can open up defences. The other thing here, and I'll hold my hands up to all of us here, I think we're guilty of what Ruffy has accused us of, which is maybe buying into the hype of Aberdeen. But Keith O'Flaherty on our feed says, excuses for Aberdeen. All the chat was the pitch, it was poor, and how Aberdeen would take them at home. They were well and truly schooled at Pittodrie, and I think that's fair. I've got to say to Keith, that's fair comment.
Stephen Glass came out and said that last night. He came out and said it. He came out after the game and says, listen, they were a level above us. You know, and I thought it was quite refreshing, honestly, actually. You don't actually hear that from managers coming out and saying, listen.
He never said that after the first game.
No.
I think the first game was a bit of a leveller because the pitch. He did say last night that I think they were fortunate the pitch was poor over there. They might have gotten turned over there as well. So they've got to concentrate on the league campaign now.
Yeah, that's the great line for failure, isn't it? Anyway,
the league campaign and one of the cups.
Yeah. Oh yes, Ruffy. Good point, Ruffy. Actually, well done. They've been battered down. You're going to have a long, hard season, by the way. St Johnstone. You did mention the fact that you thought the Austrians would cause them problems. I thought they might have nicked it. It certainly doesn't help, Ruffy. when you have a substitute comes on, elbows the boy and gets sent straight off the park again.
Yeah, but Xander Clark kept them in a game. Some of the saves they had, two or three saves were outstanding, you know. But when it still stays that score line, anything can happen. You know, you can get a deflected shot or whatever. So they were still in it, and obviously that happened. And I don't know what he was complaining about. You know, I think he knew what he had done. And the second one, I felt a wee bit sorry for him getting sent off because I thought it was just a tangle. I don't think he actually
It's a red card. He pulls him
he's
back
got
in the
wrong
box.
side of it.
Penalty.
I missed the
That's a
pull
red
back.
card.
I just thought it was a tangle of legs. Maybe I never saw it right, but I didn't see a pull.
You didn't see his hand on
That
the
would be on your fourth or
No.
fifth
Did you see
gin
the
at
guy
that point.
falling down?
No, I was
okay.
actually watching. I had to watch it on
Holmes under hammer.
some foreign TV.
Yeah.
I need to get hold of your disc, man.
Yeah, well,
Get that.
the dish moves all around East Kilbride.
Maybe a wee stick it can help
I
you.
was just about to say, it doesn't actually just stay at his house. There's about 57 cables run off it.
It was on BBC, the St Johnson game.
There was something else on.
All right,
He
okay.
texted me to say that Red Imps, he was watching that game, the Gibraltar game.
Yeah.
They've qualified.
Well, of course, because your cousin's over there. Anyway, Lask 2-0, St Johnstone out. Now I think the big thing, and I think the general consensus from all of us, is that St Johnstone could be in danger of getting cherry-picked here from a number of clubs. Ali McCann, the red-hot property, we expect bids for him. Calum Davis is hoping he can hold on to some of them.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe that with the way they play today, you know, that they want to succeed, they want to get better. So I shouldn't see why not. It'll be an interesting 4 or 5 days to come now. Obviously, I was hoping it would be bringing more players in rather than saving players. So yeah, we'll have a look. We'll see what happens. It's football. You know, some of them played really well. I thought Ali McCann was outstanding again tonight, and that's all 4 games in Europe. He's been different class, and you know, he's a terrific young talent. But that's only if the price is right.
Yeah, if the price is right, they'll be going, and St Johnstone, I think, will be hard pushed to say no to some of the clubs that are going to come calling. And of course, Calum Davis, I thought, was excellent in his post-match analysis of it all, Charlie, because he knows he's got to keep the squad, you know, with a belief. They've had the double cup win. They've had a huge expectation last night, just similar maybe to Galatasaray, maybe a wee bit more so. And then it doesn't go according to plan. He's got to keep the players on side and get the fans back in there.
Yeah, listen, it was brilliant to see so many St Johnstone fans back in the ground and supporting the team. You're just hoping that they can come back again. They will come back supporting them in the league. And yeah, you know, that problem of getting knocked out, it's how flat that place goes, you know. And if, obviously, listen, they're going to be interested in some of the players. And if they can keep 1 or 2, but, you know, like I say, the price is right for St Johnstone or any club in Scotland. They have to sell, and it's a well-run club, but, you know, if Brown can get a few quid in the bank, he'll take it. It's just getting the right money for each player.
Yeah, okay. Sometimes we try and read out some of the messages that come in on the show, on the live feed anyway. Don't forget, if you download the app, you can actually post a message to us in the submissions area, and if we read it out, we'll send you something special. If we use your video, you can record yourself and drop that in as well, then we'll send you something as well. And the name of the wee man, which is obviously not his real name, Ruffy, says, Ruffy, you're on a Football Chat podcast. Get off Holmes under the hammer and do some research, man. So he's leathered you for it, but don't worry about it, because...
Can you watch it one time?
Well, because we can, yeah, we'll leather him for you, by the way, if there's any mistakes. But hey, it's all about opinions. He didn't think it was a penalty. We thought it was a penalty. It depends on which angle you want to look at it. The Scottish Premiership this weekend is where we're going to start talking about one game in particular, which is the game of the weekend. All you have to do is look at it on the Sunday. It's Rangers against Celtic. There are some tasty ties elsewhere on the Saturday and Sunday. Hibs against Livingston. Motherwell take on Dundee. Dundee United against Hearts. And Aberdeen, Ross County and St Mirren against St Johnstone. So, Ruffy, how do you assess an Old Firm game where I think Rangers have won 5 out of the last 6? They're at home. They maybe haven't been firing on all cylinders since the start of the season. Do they get into this one as clear favourites?
Just favourites, like obviously home advantage, but I think it's a lot easier to sort of make some kind of decision in these games when you see the lineup. You know, when you see the two teams, you know, in front of you, and you know who's playing and who's not playing. and that can affect a lot of the games. Rangers have home advantage, they've got all their supporters behind them. I think it's going to be a mighty task for Celtic, particularly we keep talking, every time we talk about Celtic, we're talking about that defence, and if we're talking about it, Rangers will be talking about it. They'll be looking at ways that they can get at the defensive weaknesses, because there knows a weakness there. I think attacking wise, Celtic don't have a problem, you know, but for me, Charlie maybe no better than me, I think these games are all won in midfield. You know, midfield, if you've got people in there dominating that area, you know, everybody feeds from it, and that's generally the team that wins.
Yeah, well, this is what Gary McAllister had to say ahead of the game. He was speaking to Rangers fanzine people. No matter who's available on Sunday, we'll come together and they'll be fully committed. We hope our boys will be confident, but form can go out of the window in these fixtures. I see Sunday as a coming together for everyone at the club, for the fans, staff, players and board, everyone coming together and looking for a positive result. And I mean, listen, you can speculate to the cows come home on Tavernier, McGregor, McLaughlin, Wright, Kent, Charlie. Old Firm games, I've right up until the kick-off, I've actually heard one pundit say Barry Ferguson is definitely playing today, and he was standing there in a puffer jacket and a tracksuit. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, some can have a last-minute decision, and suddenly you see them waltzing out onto the pitch.
Yeah, probably felt like that when I was playing. Just used to get wheeled out for these games, and but no, I think because of the COVID situation and things, I think we've got to wait until the team lineups come out. But Rangers are at home. You'd expect probably a little bit of, you know, advantage with that. So no, listen, I think it's going to be a great game.
Who would you like to see playing that you would fill you with confidence for Rangers?
As long as McGregor's playing, I think that would be a bigger, you know, start for them. Kent is a match winner, but I think he has to turn up. I don't think he's been at the levels that he's produced in the last couple of seasons, and if he can do that, these are the games that he normally comes and does well. So if they can have McGregor in goals and Kent, then I still think Rangers will be okay. So, but I expect a lot of goals in this game because of how the game are going to go.
Yeah, because Rangers' defence last season was solid. This season, a few creaks here and there. Celtic, we've already discussed their failings in the back end, but Celtic into this game off the back of 6 straight wins domestically. So they're flying.
Yeah, Celtic are flying. I think they'll get into the game with confidence. I think at the start of the week, I think Celtic were favourites. I think it's switched back over now. I think Rangers are favourites. So I think it's a very, very difficult game to call. I agree with Charlie. I can't see this being 0-0. Famous last words, but I just don't see it being 0-0. I think the way Celtic play, they won't change their style. We've seen it at Alkmaar last night. They pressed. And the thing is, I think the better the quality you come up against, they'll play through your press. And I think Rangers have got the quality. You know, Celtic come flying and try and press them. If they can get by that first press and get running and get at that back four, I think Rangers are,
especially with how Celtic play with the two inverted full-backs.
They tuck in, the ball down the side.
1v1 Morelos against Starvelt all day, that'll be happening, and it's just how Starvelt can handle Morelos' strength and his power.
Yeah, I mean, that's the interesting part of it. I think, Ruffy, you're talking about the press and how Celtic, play out of it, and they're playing this nice football at times, but I think last night, because Alkmaar are a good side, I thought there were periods where Celtic couldn't string 2 passes together in it because they were making mistakes, the ball was going out, poor direction, and the pass goes out for a throw-in. But when it does click, you only have to look at Kyogo's goal. I mean, it's bang, 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 right across and they're in.
But the times it clicks are not against that kind of quality. You look at, not just bringing up Charlie's team, Dundee, and St Mirren down to 10 men. That's when it clicks, when they're all firing and they're all scoring goals. This is a different thing altogether. You've got to get the goals, to lift the whole team. And I just got a feeling that they're still quite, no inexperienced, but sort of a mix and max. And if Rangers score, there's a lot of them in their head have got to deal with it because they've never been there before and they've not played in front of 50,000 and everything that goes with it. So I think it's important if Celtic are going to get in and out of the game, they need to score first. Yeah.
Interesting. Hang fire. Who are the favourites? Who are the underdogs? Well, it's not Celtic according to their manager.
Whenever the pendulum swings one way or another and there's dominance on one side or the other. You need at times to have that circuit breaker just to sort of, as you say, swing momentum to us. But I don't think Celtic would ever see themselves as an underdog, and they shouldn't in any contest. And that doesn't mean you don't respect the opponent. It doesn't mean you go into every game understanding that there are major challenges. But the one thing I'm trying to instill here is that, you know, when you're representing this football club, every game is there to be won.
So every game is there to be won. Tam McManus, you know, they might, I think they're, so what's the bookies' take on this? You're always your finger on it.
No, I think that when the COVID issue, I think Rangers went out to 2-1 or something like that, and now they're back in. I think it's joint favourites. So I think it all depends on who's playing. I think McGregor's playing for Rangers. I think that is huge. He's been the difference in some of the Old Firm games last season. I think if he's playing, I think that if Rangers even put out the same team they played against Alashkert over there, I think that's good enough on the day, as long as they've got that experienced goalkeeper behind them. But I can't split them. You know, I think there'll be goals in the game. I think 2 each would be my shout. As I said, it's difficult to call, but I'll go for 2 each.
Yeah, I'm going to get Charlie's thoughts on it and Ruffy's in a moment. But give us your thoughts. Who do you think is going to win it? Rangers and why? Celtic and why? Or do you think it's going to be 2-2 as Tam has just suggested? Our reporter Gabriel Antoniazzi looks at the match in greater depth. Well, maybe he does. We'll get back to him on that. I'll get back to him on that. Yeah, Gabriel, it does have a package, but we'll get back to it. Ruffy, give us your thoughts. That every now and then there's a glitch here and there.
Oh, it's worse than that, seriously. But I'm sure we'll get back to Gabs, because it's always important to hear what Gabs says.
What sort of package he's got?
No, he's not. He hasn't. He's bolted. He ain't got it.
He hasn't? Oh,
no.
For goodness sake. No. As I said, I think it's important if Celtic score first. They've got a fighting chance. I obviously think if Rangers scored, then I think they'll go on to win. I'm not. Every time you think it's going to be a high scorer, it's generally not a high scorer. So I'm going to sit on the fence and say 1 each.
I still think that, like you said, the midfield control, Davis, Arfield, Kamara, against Turnbull, Rogic, McGregor. Who on the day can...
I'm not sure Rogic will play.
You think McCarthy will play?
I thought Rogic was terrible last night.
So did I. I thought he was
terrible.
I thought he was
It's
murdered.
a big game to bring James straight in, isn't it?
Yep, and you've got maybe Christie to come
Big game to bring James McCarthy into. Do you think?
Played?
So? Yeah, he's played a couple of games. As a
It's-
sub.
A sub, it's not the same playing sub to come into an actual Old Firm away from home. Maybe at Celtic Park, yeah, but different away from home at Ibrox. I know you're experiencing that, but the intensity of how they're going to play and what Rangers will do. Rangers will get after Celtic from the first minute to the last.
Did you play Rogic?
Well, if he's the one that can win you a game, but also you could lose you. I just know that midfield in Celtic that you can get runners off them, and that'd be a worry.
Yeah, okay. Everybody's got their opinion on who will dominate. Sometimes, I mean, I've watched many an Old Firm game where you actually looked and you thought, midfield, whoever wins the midfield battle. But in this one, I just think it's whoever avoids the least amount of goals at the back end.
Chances. You know, which team will create the most chances and who will take it. We saw Morelos the other night there. If he takes it, Rangers won 3-0 quite easily. You know, but in big games, big players generally come up with the goods, and it depends which of the two teams have got the big players in this game to have the ability to come up with it.
Yeah, I knew there was something that Gabriel had put together for us, Ruffy, that I knew was going to get people's backs up. We asked Gabriel to come up with an Old Firm combined 11. And
He's had a few chins, I think.
McGregor in goal, we've got no argument. Well, the back four, he's got Ralston, Goldson, Welsh and Barisic. Then the midfield, he's got Turnbull, Davis, McGregor, and then Kent, Morelos and Kyogo. Tam, you get the hatchet into it first of all.
He's at the wind-up. He's really at the wind-up. Right, first of all, how does he get Ralston in there instead of Tavernier? Right, that's the first one.
He said to me before, it's on form.
He's got Hollander, Welsh. Hollander's got to be in before Welsh.
Yeah.
Kamara.
Have you got any Celtic players in?
Barisic got to be in before Taylor.
Yeah, you got
Did
to.
he have Taylor up there?
No, he's got Barisic.
Yeah, there he's there. Look, I mean, there's the
Let's
team.
see.
I mean, is there any Celtic
I would
players
probably
in
go
it?
with. I'd probably listen. I'm probably gonna. I will get slaughtered, but I'd probably have only have Kyogo in there.
Nah, I'd have
What?
Kyogo and McGregor.
McGregor, you'd have a Rebo before McGregor?
I'd have Kamara in there and Turnbull, Davis. I think Kyogo.
Yeah.
I'd take
That's
that.
it.
I'd have Kyogo, McGregor and Turnbull.
Yeah, Ruffy, I think that's the best
Aye,
shout.
you'd probably be three of them.
I think that's the best shout out of it all, and the rest of it would be Rangers players.
Ralston and Welsh, he's
Arfield's,
surely-
Arfield's definitely going to play.
Yeah, but he won't play in the combined 11, to be honest with you, but he will play. You'd have him in the combined... Charlie,
I like him. I think
you'd have Derek Parlane and Derek
No,
Johnson
no.
on the bench.
He's
Yeah, it's
Arfield,
not a show for you, it's too staunch for you. son.
Arfield's big old foreign player.
Yeah. Hey, brilliant. That's the great thing about it. Lots of people having... Yeah, I mean, listen, John says Aribo should be in it. He says, and I'm a Celtic fan. So John has got it.
John.
It's all about opinions, and Charlie's right in your camp there. Abada is ahead of Kent, says Christopher Coyle. That's the joy
Edward
of-
either.
That's the joy of it. I mean, well, Edward, still, 1 game in 4. I still think he's
What
got
about
to
the
step
bid?
up.
What about this supposed bid for him?
Ruben
For
Kazan.
18 million euros.
Yeah, well, listen.
Celtic are tempted, they're saying.
Well, can I tell you right now?
Tempted to get him on the plane.
If there was 18 million, they'd be driving him to Russia, let me tell you. So we'll wait to see who is going out the door, who's coming in the door. We've given you our predictions. You can give us your prediction. Incidentally, there'll be winners of the Rangers and Celtic top today. Will announce the winners as well. As far as the other matches are concerned, there's a lot of really tasty ones to look forward to. Hibs still leading the table at the moment. Tam, they're against Livingston.
Yeah, a little bump in the road last week against an Charlie Adam inspired Dundee side. Probably should still win the game if Murphy takes the opportunity, but forget about that. Go to Livingston. Livingston at home tomorrow. I'd expect Hibs to win the game.
Yeah.
You know, if Hibs have got any aspirations of doing anything this year, got to win that game tomorrow. Nisbet back, and I know that Jack was speaking today at the press, and you've gone into a second. They need a striker and they need a centre half in. Jack's been wanting a centre half for 18 months, so there's no excuses now. It's down to Ron Gordon and Graham Matthew to get somebody in. You know, give them back the manager, because I think on the whole, Jack Ross's signings have been excellent. You know, when he's been backed, he's brought in good players. So I think he needs to get a striker and a centre half in, or else I don't think he'll be. I think he'll be very, very unhappy.
I liked the boy Scott last week.
Yep, James Scott is a good player.
I thought he was good. Held up well.
Yep.
You think he'll be a good signing for Hibs?
Yeah, well, the manager does, in fact, hope that they can get those players in that Tam was talking about.
I would be really, really surprised and disappointed if we didn't add to the squad. We have worked pretty hard to do it yet, but we've also been. I want to make sure there's ones that I believe will improve us. So we've turned down the opportunity to sign some. We thought it was maybe just doing it for the sake of doing it, but we need to still add a couple.
Okay, if Jack Ross is talking about adding a couple, I wonder how many are needed at Livingston. David Martindale has said that they are in the process of signing a luxury player. Now, Ruffy,
Right,
look at Ruffy. Look at
Charlie's got to Levy.
By the way, Dave Martindale spent his budget 3 times. He said he spent all his money on Shinnie,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden he's got more money to spend now. So
Well, do you know why? Because I think they definitely need something. They need
it's
something.
good.
I think they're in big trouble this season.
Yeah, and I think everybody's caught on to the tactics of them at home, you know, and that fear factor, not fear factor, the surprise factor isn't there this year for most of the teams who have been there. They know how to dig it out, and that's what's been happening. But no, I don't think he's replaced any of the quality that he's lost, you know, and that's the problem. But if the board are keep getting him players, he'll keep taking them.
I've got Hibs 2, Livingston 1.
I've got Hibs 3-1.
Charlie?
draw.
3-1.
3-1, yeah. For Hibs? Just
Yes.
checking. Okay, Motherwell against Dundee. Motherwell have added Sondre Johansson, the 26-year-old, into their lineup as well. So they've obviously had to strengthen. Graham Alexander wanted to get him in. Sean Goss, also an ex-Rangers player, has been added to the squad, and Alexander himself, well happy to get Goss. He reckons he'll give a little bit of balance to the middle of the park.
He's got a great left foot, good athlete. There's things in his game we need to help him improve for him to really fulfil his potential. But at 25, those improvements will come through the will of the player and the work that we do on the training pitch. So delighted to get him on our squad, because I think he's got real good quality on the ball.
Well, they're against the Dundee side that's 9th, 2 draws, 1 defeat. They've conceded 10 goals, scored just 4. And they've been linked with Lee Griffiths, and you can understand why I would suggest to you Charlie Adam. But I have Motherwell 1, Dundee 2, and that's the first time I'm there. I'm with them, because I must admit, last week I thought some of the football you played was lovely, but you definitely need a striker.
Well, in the 3 games, really, with Celtic, we were well and truly beaten, but St Mirren, Motherwell in the Cup, and last week against Hibs, we were in the game, and we played some good stuff in the games. So no, we're confident going there. Will Motherwell have changed any from the Cup? I don't really think so. They've obviously had a couple, but I think they'll still try and play the same way. And we're looking forward to going there. It'll be a good game. If we can get first one on the board, then it's a good way to go into the international break.
Whether it's Griffiths or someone else, how much of a shot in the arm would it be just to get someone in there to bolster the squad?
I just think anybody, you know what it's like. It's when you get somebody new in the door, it freshens it up, it gives emphasis to the group, and obviously, I think if you want to stay in the league, goals are massive. If you can score goals and you can get somebody in of that quality, then it would be great. But I don't know how far it's down the line, or if the manager's actually spoken to him. So we'll wait and see in the next few days what happens.
Ruffy, what are you going for in this one?
I think both teams will enjoy the results they had last week. I think they both go into the game with a lot of confidence. I can't split them at all. I'm going to go one each in this one, because I think both of them will, I don't think there's much between the two of them.
Okay, 1-1's not bad. It's better than the battering you've been getting over the last couple of weeks.
You go for 1-1 a lot, didn't you, Ruffy?
Yeah,
that's your standard.
2-1.
I think there's a comfort about you two this season, because you're looking at some of the other pundits and thinking there's safety in there, there's naivety.
There's a few poor outfits in your league. A few jobbers at the bottom. That's
enough about Hugh McDonald. He'll get there eventually. What are you going for?
Say jobbers.
Jobbers. You've 2. That's 2 now
that's
for you.
Not a swear word.
Do you know what?
We
need a fine system,
Let me tell you something, Charlie. Listen, there are many aging ex-pros we can get. That's 2 from him now. He's bang out of one.
Can he say that's
3 and you're out.
I'm looking up the dictionary. That's not a swear word.
I've went for 2-1 to Motherwell. I think Motherwell will just edge it, but I see Stephen O'Donnell's out. I'll tell you what, you'll love the surface at Motherwell. It's the best surface for me in Scotland. So Charlie will love that.
Park?
Oh, what a pitch.
Yeah.
What a pitch that is, aye.
Better than Ibrox and...
Yes, Motherwell's the best pitch in the league by a mile.
Right, okay. Give us your thoughts on that.
Slope though, isn't there?
Aye, there's a wee slope. Aye.
There is, but give us your thoughts on that, Charlie.
On what?
Don't you worry about running down the slope, just you stay in the high bit.
You're
okay?
right. Just don't have to run back up that hill.
Absolutely.
Just up in that left-hand
Listen,
side.
I've modelled my entire game on you, Charlie. Don't move a metre left or right. Dundee United against Hearts. 6th with 1 win and a draw, Dundee United. Certainly surprised us last week. Are they going to surprise us this week?
No, I think it will be. I think I've put a draw down for that game. I find it hard to split them. I think that Hearts have started really well. Joint top with Hibs and Aberdeen. Dundee United, shocked Rangers in the opening day of the season. Great result last week at St Johnstone, so they'll get into it with a bit of confidence as well. Tam Coates was favourite, I think, in the sack race with a lot of people, but he started well. Fair play to him. So I think that'll be a draw. I think Dundee United and Hearts will be 1 each.
Be a bit of needle in this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I love gone 1-1. Why do you think there's needle?
Just with Robbie obviously being there and everything that's gone on, and Tam's gone in there. So listen, United have started well, So
Robbie made the choice.
Yeah, but it's how he left. I think I don't think United will be too happy with what's gone on, and I think this will be a draw.
Yeah, Ruffy.
I took a wee gamble last week with Motherwell to beat Livy, and I got 5 points. So I'm going to take another gamble this week. I'm going to go Hearts to win 2-1.
Well, there you are.
He's pretty gambling, probably the favourites to win the game.
Yes,
So,
yes.
big gamble that one.
Exactly, it's putting his neck right out there. Now, on this one, this is a strange one. Again, I think I've gone for too many draws, but St Mirren against St Johnstone. St Johnstone coming off the back of, at times, a really, really difficult night for them against Lask. I can't separate them. I've got them as a draw. They've only scored 1 goal in the last 3 league games, Ruffy.
Yeah, and I don't think they've won any games in the last 8, something like that, some kind of record. So I'm going to go for St Mirren.
Yeah?
I'm going to go for St Mirren to get back on the track again, and I'm going to go with my favourite scoreline, 2-1.
2-1. That's the other thing about it. It's just, I don't know if you've noticed this, Charlie, but on the predictor on our WhatsApp group, he's always last to post.
Yes.
Because he's looking at the
busy
format.
man, isn't he?
No, it's cheating.
It's trying to get
These
through
every other
that.
results. He studies and he goes, well, I can...
How does that work? I don't get the logic in that.
Yeah, you have a
Why
look
do
at
I
everybody and you think there's a wee bit of spread betting here. Well, look, if I can stay on his tail.
Copy somebody.
Go the same
you
2
know,
results as him,
guarantee-
go the same 2 results, I'll keep myself above people.
Exactly. St
No,
Mirren,
I know that
1
thought
draw and
this
2
year.
defeats, Charlie.
I'm
your
going
own
for a
club.
win this year.
They have their own show here.
Yeah, absolutely. You two go and do your own show.
I just think the European thing, how much does it take it? Like, a St Mirren team with a St John's team, with a big squad, and I'm going to go for a draw as well in this one.
Yeah, okay. Aberdeen against, did I get yours?
No, you didn't. No.
Sorry, Tam. What is it? You were talking to him, that's what took me away.
I went the same as Ruffy, he copied me, I went 2-1. I put mine up first.
Funny that. Aberdeen against Ross County. We've mentioned all the signings. I don't believe for a minute that you're going to go against the Dons because you've got your finger in that many pies. It's unbelievable staying with your mates. But they have made some good signings, to be fair to them.
Tell you what, those 3 guys that they've brought in, and they bring them in 2 and 3 year deals, no, it's not a year deal or whatever. I fancy Aberdeen strongly. I think they'll get back on track. I think the new signings will give them a wee lift. I think they'll all probably come in and start the game. I went for Aberdeen to win 2-1. I think they'll win the game.
Yeah, here's Stephen Glass, the Dons boss.
Yeah, we knew that they would enjoy the pitch here as well, which top players do, and they've got a team that's littered with top players. They're obviously very well coached. They've got a great group of players, and they showed it tonight. And I think it's pretty clear, and it's not an embarrassment to say they're a level above us. The aim for us as a group is to get better year on year. That's going to be the case anyway. If we get to that stage next year, I'm hoping that if we run into a group of players that's better than us, that we can handle it better.
Well, if they're going to get to that stage next year, my apologies, he's talking about last night's European game, but nevertheless, you only have to look at the standards, and I think more and more the clubs out with Celtic and Rangers who don't have the spending power are going to have to unearth either a real golden nugget in the signing stakes or start to develop more and more good Scottish talent, Ruffy. I just think we've got to keep that whole gravy train going to get standards up.
No, I think Tam's right. Aberdeen are showing that they want to make a fight yet. They've not really, the season's not kick-started yet, but these players coming in, if they are ready-made to come into that starting lineup, you've got to say it's a fresh from some of the players, as Charlie said, with St Johnstone, will have their heads down a wee bit, so these 3 new guys coming in at Aberdeen. I saw Tam's 2-1. I was going to go 2-1, but I changed it to 2-0. So I think it's going to be 2-0.
Yeah, so you changed it after having a look at Tam's.
So
that's the way it works. Right after all.
If that's the way it works.
What are you going for, Charlie?
He's not getting Ross County to score
I
a
just
goal.
think, like you say, the fresh, bringing new players. I think Longstaff's a good signing for them. It's just how they try and get combination in there with, if they bring McCorry back into midfield, Ferguson, Brown and Longstaff. So it's good signings, and I'd expect Aberdeen to win.
Yeah. Okay, you've gone for Aberdeen. I've gone for Aberdeen as well to defeat Ross County by 2-1. That is basically Saturday and Sunday. Really looking forward to it. Thanks very much to everyone who's posted their messages. Some obviously are not really in the mood to hold back on who they think is going to win. There's always a nice way. There's always a nice way.
Are you not going to read Stephen Glancy's out there?
Well, what's his? What is his?
Peter, if you grow a beard
and a black sweater, you could almost be as sexy as Ange. Well, there you are, absolutely. I'm not quite sure I'll take that as a compliment. Well, who knows? Depends if you think Ange is sexy. Now, Hugh Scott says, Peter, I thought you were talking about Tam there when you mentioned a golden nugget. Hugh, you're on you're on the mark there, I have to tell you. Lots of people giving us their thoughts on who they think is going to win the Old Firm game on Sunday, and that brings me nicely to the point that if you want to join us, then you can. Myself, Ruffy and Gabriel Antoniazzi will be out there at Ibrox. We're looking forward to Rangers against Celtic. High noon, the kick-off. It's going to be an absolute cracker. Thoroughly looking forward to it, Ruffy. Are you?
Yeah, where are we doing it from? Just as a point.
Celtic Park.
No, whereabouts at Ibrox? Are we in the vicinity?
Just on the left-hand side of the Rangers fans walking in. Yeah. Because remember, there are no Celtic fans.
Yes.
There.
No, there is a Rangers fan I might want to bump into, and say well done and I hope everything goes all right today. Because he's, no.
Good luck with that, Ruffy. Good luck with that. I'll be in the armoured truck on the left-hand side with a camera on me. Anyway.
The person with a coat tucked up, Inspector Cluzo.
If you see two guys with a parka and binoculars, you know it's us, Charlie. Anyway, apart from anything else, join us at 10 o'clock on Sunday when we can look forward to it. I don't know about you, I love the games. I love the build-up, the buzz. Do you notice, Charlie, that 5 minutes before it's about to kick off, it's almost as if somebody cranks up the noise.
Oh, the volume just is electric because you're stood in the tunnel.
Yeah.
And obviously, Simply the Best just about to start playing, and that's when the adrenaline starts to go. It's incredible to run it there, but it's a great game, and hopefully it's a ding-dong battle and we see plenty of goals. Yeah,
here's the overall predictions of all our pundits on this one. I've gone 2-2. Tam Cowan 2-2. Gabriel Antoniazzi 2-2. Charlie Adam 2-1 to Rangers. Ruffy thinks it's going to be a draw. Alison McConnell thinks Rangers 1, Celtic 2. Hugh McDonald thinks...
Am I the only one that thinks Rangers are going to win here?
Well, we've all gone for a draw. A draw is a prediction, isn't it? Tam McManus 2-2. Hugh and Alison are the only ones that think Celtic are going to win. You're the one that thinks Rangers are going to win. So it's that's the joy of this game.
You could be detached at the moment.
They'll be having their own dinner, relegation dinner.
Alison and Hugh could be taking us to one of those fancy restaurants. I think it'd be better if Hugh lost the whole thing.
Would you?
Oh, if Hugh loses the campaign, we're having a right good night out, Ruffy.
Hugh's brilliant. He doesn't eat and he doesn't drink. It's just made for the rest of us.
And he can drive the van that drops us all off. And of course, the other thing about him is he's easily got £32.8 million in change in his left-hand pocket. So it will be a right good night out if he lost it. But listen, the joy of it all is, the good thing is with the Old Firm game, and I always say this, is watch it. Don't lose the plot. Don't lose the heat. No. If you're with your mates, enjoy it. It's as simple as that. I mean, there should be no trouble at the game. There's 50,000 Rangers fans and nobody else. I mean, for God's sake,
don't let get scalped and they're fighting each other.
How to load the bases,
It's the aftermath of the Old Firm in the streets of the city now. Let's just enjoy yourself. It's first time an opportunity for a long time that these fans are getting into. The Rangers fans back in. City's probably going to be bounced. Just no trouble and just. Hopefully it's a great game.
Yeah, I think that's the key point, and I hate to put a dampener on it and a journalistic slant on it, Ruffy, but sadly for me, I love the games, especially if you look back in the joy of it. I'm not going to mince my words here. I don't like some of the fans and their attitude to how they view the Old Firm game. There's a sectarian poison to it. There's an element of people who can't behave, and some of the things that they shout are disgusting. And there's also, and as Charlie pointed out there, away from the game, not only in pubs and clubs, there's a real, group of people that just lose a sense of perspective and create trouble. But there's also an increase in domestic abuse, which sadly is something that a lot of people don't realise. But I'll tell you, in accident and emergency hospitals up and down the country,
I was going to say that. I know people who are in the accident and emergency, and after a game is the busiest time they ever have, and they've got to deal with, most of the people who come in are obviously well oiled with alcohol, and they're the ones that have got to deal with it, trying to treat them, trying to do their best, and they're the ones that get most of the verbal stuff. So yeah, you're right, go and enjoy the game. If your team wins, celebrate it in the right way.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, sorry, can you imagine if Scott Brown was in that Celtic team tomorrow, on Sunday? We know Celtic fans, 50,000 shouting at me, loving it, wouldn't he?
Yeah, well, he'd be the cigars out. He'd be he'd be walking like this, Tom, wouldn't he? Until the goal went in. But nevertheless, who knows? We think a draw. Charlie thinks it's going to be a Rangers win. Competition winners, John Kelly. We've contacted him from the YouTube feed. Well done to you, John. And you've won the Celtic strip. William Graham, we've sent you a message on your YouTube feed, William. Well done to you. You've won the Rangers top. So they'll be on their way to you this week.
Won't make the same mistake as SPFL, will you, with the flags?
I will not make that. No, I will not. I mean, there's nothing worse.
Is there any cinch badges on
Well,
there?
Send Billy Graham that Celtic one.
Can you imagine Billy Graham just opens up that envelope? He's like, there you go. That'll be used as a chamois if that's the case. But no, we're sending it out to the proper people. Well done to you. And it just emphasises there's so many ways to win on this programme. Simple as that. There's lots of competitions coming up. Tell your friends. Hit the subscribe button and share the feed as well, and let everybody know that we're here, the ever-growing football family. Join us if you can with that. Just before we go, guys, the English Premier League fixtures, have a wee look at them. The only reason I'm asking you to have a look at them is because not only are there some tasty games to look forward to, Man City, Arsenal, Newcastle, Southampton, Brighton against Everton, West Ham, Crystal Palace, Norwich against Leicester, Villa will take on Brentford. It's Liverpool, Chelsea, which is game of the weekend for me. Burnley, Leeds United, Tottenham, Watford, and Wolves against Manchester United. All great games, but the main story, which is burning at the moment, Ruffy, suddenly City fans thinking Ronaldo's coming, and then all of a sudden there seems to be a dramatic twist. He's odds on to be at Old Trafford for the second time in his career.
Yeah, and we spoke about it yesterday. I wonder if Sir Alex get anything to do with that.
He'll have
a wee
everything to do with
phone
that.
call,
Yeah.
a wee phone call, and sort of put him in the right direction. But then that'll be a blow for Man City, because they thought he had him done and dusted.
Well, I mean, fantastic for United. For me, Charlie, I mean, I want Liverpool to win the league for obvious reasons. And I think we're looking okay. But I think Ronaldo could be the deal breaker to land them the league. Not just a second, third or fourth. I think he could be the difference.
I think you can bring them into a competitive, with City and Liverpool, Chelsea now signing Lukaku. I think it'll be a wonderful deal to see Ronaldo come back. Pep said in an interview earlier today that there are only two players that can pick and choose where they want to go. Messi's obviously picked to go to PSG, and Ronaldo looks like he's going to pick to go to United. It's brilliant for the English game. He's still a world-class footballer, and it would be great to see him back in the Premier League. And let's say United look like they've got one over City, but City are obviously denying, saying that they were never involved. So it's a good one.
Yeah, he could never have joined Man City. I've
Why?
been saying that for days.
No way.
I've been
His legacy is
I'm saying it
no
for days.
chance.
No chance he was joining them. But over and above that, he's 36. I think he's still got another couple of years. He could play for
Definitely.
United.
He's an absolute machine. I mean, you've seen it in the Euros. I think he was one of the top goal scorers in the Euros with Portugal. Still a top player. Still get 25, 30 goals in the English Premier League.
And he's
playing
got
at Man
Cavani.
United. He's got Cavani there. Massive
Sancho
signing.
off one side.
Massive signing.
Rashford
Sancho,
off the other side.
Rashford, Pogba, and then you've got Varane joining him in the centre-back position. with
Yeah,
Harry
Man U will be
Maguire.
looking good. Man U will be looking good, but I think if Man City don't sign a striker this window, I don't think they win the league.
You don't think?
I don't think they win the league.
Down to a striker.
I think it's down. They've got Jesus is the only number 9 they've got really in at the club. If anything happens to him, I'd fancy Chelsea to win the league now.
I still think City's dream is the Champions League. I think that's what he wants. It's as simple as that. But he could be under P if he doesn't.
Nah,
No?
not under pressure. He'll be disappointed if they don't win the Champions League. Like you say, they've won everything else. The Champions League's the holy grail for them. If they can win that, it'd be amazing. But I still think that 4, City, United, Liverpool and Chelsea are the 4 that could fight it out. If they sign Ronaldo, it puts them closer to City and Liverpool. I still think they're the
Well,
two to beat.
Man U finished 14 points behind Man City last season in
Yeah.
the league.
And Ronaldo
So can
bring that.
Ronaldo bridge that 14-point gap?
Absolutely. And Varane.
Do you think he can, Ruffy?
I would like to see him getting a new goalie. I'm not too happy with him now. I think he's not doesn't make the big saves, and he's letting in too many bad ones. But I think the centre half is a great buy. I've said all along I can't understand why Man United have never went out and got a real class centre half with some of the ones I've had.
Okay, interesting stuff. Listen, that's the English Premier League for you, but the Premiership this week in Scotland. This weekend's going to be tasty, not only on the Saturday. Good luck to yourself, Charlie. Playing, we always like to get your thoughts and see how you do in that Dundee strip. I'll see you at close hand tomorrow. And of course on Sunday, enjoy the game. It's only a game, it's only sport. We love it, but it's not life and death. We want to enjoy our football, so enjoy the game if you are a Rangers or a Celtic fan, and we will see you on Sunday live at 10 o'clock. Ruffy, myself and Gabriel Antoniazzi will be previewing that match, and then I'll give you my thoughts on the match right after it as well, and you can join us on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Hopefully you can do that on Sunday, and then on Monday all the guys will be back to reflect on the aftermath of not only Rangers against Celtic, but all the other Scottish Premiership matches. From Ruffy, Tam McManus, Charlie Adam and myself, Peter Martin, have a great footballing weekend. Thanks for watching.